स्टूडेंट्स, आज हम करेंगे क्लास 7th फाइनल ईयर एग्जामिनेशन सोशल साइंस का क्वेश्चन पेपर. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. नाउ दीज आर द जनरल इंस्ट्रक्शंस. अगर आप चाहते हैं तो आप उनको पढ़ सकते हैं, बट वी विल बी डायरेक्टली डूइंग द क्वेश्चंस. सो लेट्स बिगिन. मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चंस. क्वेश्चन 1. When did the Supreme Court direct all the states to start the midday meals program in schools? Now, आप सब तो जानते हैं कि मिड डे मील स्कीम क्या है. Essentially एक प्रोग्राम which aims to provide food to all children studying in schools. Now, जो ये स्कीम थी ये कब शुरू करी थी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने, कब डायरेक्ट करा था सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने? वेल, इन द ईयर 2001. Hence, जो ऑप्शन बी है इट विल बी करेक्ट. सेकेंड क्वेश्चन. इन विच कंट्री वॉज द सिविल राइट्स मूवमेंट स्टार्टेड? नाउ सिविल राइट्स मूवमेंट क्या था? वो एक एसेंशियली मूवमेंट था जिसमें जो रेशियल सेग्रीगेशन एंड डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हो रही थी बिटवीन द ब्लैक्स एंड वाइट्स, ये हट जाए. तो जो ये सिविल राइट्स मूवमेंट था ये कौन सी कंट्री में स्टार्ट हुआ था? इन द यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका. इसलिए जो ऑप्शन डी है इट विल बी द करेक्ट ऑप्शन. मूविंग ऑन टू क्वेश्चन 3. मेंबर्स ऑफ द लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली आर इलेक्टेड बाय. नाउ जो लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली के मेंबर्स हैं कौन इलेक्ट करता है उनको? द पीपल. द पीपल किसको रेफर करता है? द पीपल रिफर्स टू द सिटीजन्स ऑफ द कंट्री. तो the members of the legislative assembly were elected by the citizens of the country. Hence जो ऑप्शन है वो करेक्ट होएगा. Moving on to question number 4. Suppose there are 200 seats in the legislative assembly of your state. How many seats are required to be won by a political party in order to attain majority? Now, in order to attain majority, एक पार्टी को कितनी सीट्स चाहिए? अबाउट हाफ और मोर. नाउ 200 का हाफ कितना है? 100. तो फिर कितनी सीट्स चाहिएगी? 100 और उससे ऊपर, और 100 और 101. इसलिए जो ऑप्शन सी है इट विल बी करेक्ट. मूविंग ऑन टू क्वेश्चन नंबर 5. Which of the following is a biotic factor of environment? Now, biotic का मतलब क्या होता है? Biotic means living and abiotic means non-living. लेकिन हमें biotic factor बताना है environment का क्या है. Now, living organism क्या चीज़ है? Obviously animals. इसलिए जो ऑप्शन डी है it will be correct as it is a biotic factor because animals are living organisms. लेकिन जो लैंड, कोल एंड डायमंड है ये इनकरेक्ट होएगा बिकॉज दे आर अबायोटिक फैक्टर्स. नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू क्वेश्चन नंबर 6. ओडिशा इज लोकेटेड ऑन दी. आप सब तो जानते होंगे ओडिशा किधर लोकेट होती है? ऑन द ईस्टर्न कोस्ट ऑफ इंडिया. ईस्टर्न मीनिंग दिस डायरेक्शन. नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू question number 7. Which of the following layers of the atmosphere have clouds? Now आप सब तो जानते हो एटमोसफेयर जो है उसमें मल्टीपल टाइप्स ऑफ लेयर्स है. तो कौन सी लेयर है एटमोसफेयर की वेयर क्लाउड्स आर प्रेजेंट? द ट्रोपोस्फियर. व्हाई? वेल, जो ट्रोपोस्फियर है इट इज द लोएस्ट लेयर ऑफ द एटमोसफेयर and it makes up about 70 to 80% of the atmosphere, and it is the only layer in the atmosphere which has clouds. Now let's move on to question number 8. When is World Water Day celebrated? World Water Day कब celebrate करते हैं? On the 22nd of March. Hence option A will be correct. World Water Day is celebrated on 22nd March or 22 March. Moving on to whose daughter was Razia Sultan? Now, whose daughter was Razia Sultan? Razia Sultan was the daughter of Sultan Iltutmish. He was the third ruler of the Delhi Sultanate, and he also fully built the Qutub Minar. Its foundation, although was laid out by his ancestor, but he was the one who finished it. Now, moving on to question number 10. To which country did Ibn Battuta belong to? Now, Ibn Battuta was an explorer who also visited India. So, which country did he belong to? He belonged to Morocco. Moving on to the next question. Question number 11. Match the following and choose the correct option. Firstly, Mansab. What was Mansab? Mansab was a rank. Specifically, Mansab referred to the provincial head of a government. So, firstly, the first option is equal to C. What does that mean? That means that neither option A or option D are correct because first is equal to C. Moving on to the next question. Nur Jahan. What is Nur Jahan? Well, Nur Jahan was the daughter of Jahangir. So, what does that mean? That means that option C is correct. Why? Well, because first matches C and second matches D. Moving on to the next question. Question number 12. Who composed Sahitya Lahari? Now, Sahitya Lahari was a song. So, who composed this song? Surdas did. He was a blind Hindu devotional poet as well as musician, and he composed this song. Now, let's go to question number 13. Golden Temple is also known as Harmandir Sahib. Now, question 14. Match the following and choose the correct options. Firstly, what is Subadar? Subadar is a high noble, and Faujdar was a Mughal times military commander, and Chauth was a tax levied by the Marathas, and Sardeshmukhi was a 9 to 10% of the land revenue paid to the head of a revenue collector. So, out of these options, which one is correct? 1 is equal to C. So, option B and option D both are incorrect. And second is equal to D. Thus, option B will be incorrect and option C is the correct option. Moving on to question number 15 and the final MCQ. What was the percent of the produce taken from the cultivators to produce protection under Rakhi introduced by the Sikhs? Now, what does produce mean? Produce means crop. So, what percent of crops were taken from the cultivators by the Sikhs under Rakhi? Well, the percentage that was taken was 20%. So, option C will be correct. Now, let's go and solve some questions for section B. Very short answer type questions. The first question is, how shops in the neighborhood are useful for us? So, the answer for this question will be, shops in the neighborhood are useful for us for the following reasons. 1. They are near our homes. 2. We can go there at any time of the week or day. 3. Since the shop owner and the citizens know each other well, the shop owner can offer goods at credit. Now let's move on to the next question. Question number 3. How goods reach in the hands of customers from wholesalers? Now, goods reach the hands of the customers from the wholesalers. This is how. Firstly, factories, farms, and homes produce these goods. Then, a wholesaler buys these goods in bulk and sells them to traders. And then finally, the trader sells these goods to the customer. This is called the chain of markets, and it is also the way in which goods can reach the hands of customers from the wholesalers. Moving on to question number 4, let's solve the first part. What is air pressure? Now, air pressure is the pressure exerted by the weight of the air on the Earth's surface. As we go to the top layers of the atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. Now, let's solve the B part of this question. Why wet clothes take longer time to dry on a humid day? Now, the answer for this question is that the drying of wet clothes is dependent on evaporation. Now, since during a humid day, also known as a rainy day, there is a large quantity of water vapor present in the air. Due to this water vapor, the rate at which evaporation takes place is reduced. Because of this, it takes wet clothes to take longer time to dry on a humid day. Now let's solve the A part of the fifth question. Who were Mansabdars? Now this question is quite easy because the answer is that the Mansabdars were officers in the Mughal administration. Those nobles who joined the Mughal service were enrolled as Mansabdars. The term Mansabdar refers to an individual who holds a mansab, which, as we had discussed previously, is also known as a rank. Why the peasants suffered tremendously during the Aurangzeb's reign? Now, the answer to this question is that the sufferings of peasants during Aurangzeb's reign was a result of his economic policies, military campaigns, and religious policies. For example, the heavy taxation, confiscation of land, and the economic hardships on the peasants. Now, these were the answers to all the questions. If you learned something new from this video, then make sure to like it and subscribe to our channel. Bye.